What is going on, everybody? What is going on, everybody? Hey, listen, make sure that you like this video. Make sure that you share this video. Make sure that you comment on this video. Talk to me nice. And also make sure that you subscribe to this channel. And so without further ado, I want to talk about a subject that I feel is very, very important. It is going to ruffle feathers, but hey, what would it be if I didn't ruffle feathers? But I will promise you this. I will only tell you the truth and the facts. And I understand that, with some women, facts aren't important. The feelings are important. But we have to get past the feelings and we have to start looking at things for the facts of what's happening and what we see. Not what we perceive, but what we see. All right. So what I want to talk about is men. Do you want an experienced woman or a virgin woman? Okay. Now, some of you probably feel like, man, the way these women are going today, you ain't finding no virgins. And you're right. You will not find a virgin, most likely, in the United States. Fact, women are having more sex than men are. That's just a fact. You have these preconceived notions that men are out here having sex with everyone. But the reality is there is a surprising small percentage of men that are single that don't have sex. Why do you think the porn industry is so popular? Men don't have as much access to women as women have access to men. The difference is women are accessing men that they want to access. And what do those men look like? Well, these men are established and they have the means. And a lot of our men don't have the means. Yes, that is our fault as men for not having the means. And yes, it is our fault for being so distracted that we can't get to what we got to get to produce. So what can be done about that is if men stop letting access to women rule them and just take a chill pill from women and focus on themselves and establishing themselves. Because men, when they come into this world, they don't have anything. And in order to survive, they have to acquire and they have to establish themselves. Women don't work like that, even though society tells them that they should work like that. See, society tells a woman she should go out there and she should get education, she should get her job, she should get her career, she should make a whole lot of money, and everything will be okay. But as a result, we have women who are beautiful, they are career oriented, they make good money, and they have been able to supply themselves with experiences, especially in the Black community. The Black community, Black women are at the top of the echelon when it comes to graduating with degrees. But it hasn't solved the problem, because you have women who go out there and acquire everything outside of themselves, and only to find the emptiness in those things. The woman that puts value over family and building with someone is going to have a much higher probability. And I'm being generous when I say that. I'm not even being generous by saying that. It's more than that. But she's going to have a stark difference in higher probability to being at peace and happy if she finds the right man, and builds a family with him and works with him. You'll have women that'll say, well, yeah, well, all of the good men are taken, or there are no good men. There are no good men, or the men that you choose to deal with, they're no good. Because there's a lot of good men, and a lot of them have been staring you right in the face. But you believe and you run by a mantra of, I can get more. Now here's a perfectly good man with perfectly good intentions for you, and shows the ability to be able to produce and the willingness to be able to protect you. And what else could you possibly want? Well, society teaches you should want more. Who should you want? You should want Superman. You should want the knight of all knights in shining armor. Yeah, you should want Prince Charming. Because anything less will be uncivilized. So where is he? Where is the man that checks all of the boxes off for you? And if you were able to find the man that checks all of the boxes for you, what would he want? And what do you supply to be able to get it? Because I'm sorry, and not sorry, but ladies, it's not your ability to attract a man. It's your ability to keep a man. Now, there have been some fine ones that we've seen that can't hold on to a man. See, when you get a man, you can't, your advertising days need to end. And some of you, it's too important and critical for people to see you. People need to see you all the time. The shape of, if you work on your body, people need to see that. People need to see you. You'll go, I'm trying to inspire other people. But it's just like, no, that's just a politically correct thing to say. What a lot of you are doing is you are still putting yourself out there as if you are a display item, and what you really want is attention. Granted, you may not want sex because women aren't built like men. The sex for women is attention. If a woman's getting a lot of attention, she feels like a man feels if he's getting a lot of sex. And all attention ain't good attention. All sex ain't good sex. Or good for you sex. So she goes through life and she seeks attention. You know, she gets her fans only page. You know, she's on social media. She has a fan page on Facebook, and she's taking all kinds of pictures in her bikinis. She's showing everybody her goodies, her front goodies, her back goodies, and she's showing all, and then she's taking pictures at angles so she can get likes, comments, and shares. And that doesn't have any monetary value, but to her, it means everything because it's attention. And then so she puts out all of these thirst traps, and guys are in her DMs and this, that, and the other, whatever the case may be. And she doesn't, and a lot of them don't even read her DMs. They just like to know that they're there. That validates them that they are important. That validates them to make them feel like they are something. Now, I can't knock a single woman for acting and conducting herself in a way to get attention, but I can say, how is she getting attention? What is she doing? See, taking a picture of yourself and you look very beautiful and you're in your outfit and you look radiant or whatever the case may be is one thing. But taking a picture to make a man use his imagination so easily as to what he can do to you physically, that's doing too much. And it's going to hurt you when you find a man that you really want to be with, and this is the hang up for him not being with you. Then that guy has all kinds of names. He's all kinds of dog. He's no good. He's this. I thought you were better than this. I thought you were better than that. You've seen it before. You've seen a girl break up with a guy, and all of a sudden she talks about his ping size and why it ain't good and this, that, and the other. Well, it was working for you when you were with him. Or he ain't this and he ain't that. Nope. He was everything. He was all things when you were with him. Nope. None of these verbiages, none of this verbalization came out of your mouth when you were with him. But now that you're not with him, he's ugly and he's unattractive. I don't know what I ever saw in him. Not knowing that when you talk like that, the accountability falls on you. So if this guy wasn't this and he wasn't that, why did you get with him? Why did you allow yourself to be with him? So let's get to the heart of why you was with him. Did he provide something monetarily for you that you seemingly couldn't get from anywhere else? Probably. Did he put you in positions that you couldn't put yourself in? See, because a lot of women out here, they have this idea of what a man needs to bring to the table, but they haven't figured out how to bring it to the table for themselves. I need a man that's going to be able to take me to a 5-star restaurant. Yet when you're single, you never go to a 5-star restaurant because ain't no way you spending your money on a 5-star restaurant. You got other things to do with your money. So it's important with your money, what you do with your money, but it's not important what a man needs to do with his money. So you tell a man, hey, look, you're going to have to take me to this 5-star restaurant. And he say, I would love to take you to that 5-star restaurant, but I got other things that I'm trying to do with my money. Oh, so I'm not worth it. So you cheat. That's what I'm saying. So it's a lose-lose situation with a lot of the women in this society. And like I said earlier, she's out there having sex. See, the top 20% of men are having all of the sex. And 80% of men, 85% of men out there, they aren't having any sex. They want to have sex, but they can't have sex because in order to have sex with a woman, she has to be willingly, and I'm talking about doing it the right way. She has to be willing to give you access to sex. Women control access to sex. Men don't control access to sex. He will get sex when he shows that he is established and he has what a woman wants to make her desire a relationship with him. And sometimes he doesn't even have to offer a relationship with him of like, me, you, we're together, but a consistent access so she can have those resources supplied to her that she so desperately seeks. It could be resources, it could be your presence, it could be, the respect that people give you or whatever the case may be. She wants to be a part of that too. And even if she doesn't want to be a part of that from a serious relationship standpoint, she wants to have consistent access to it, to access it as much as she wants to access it. All right. So now a woman is, for the most part in this society, a woman is very experienced. You walk down the street and you walk past 10 women, and it's almost assured that if she is 25 or older, she's had sex. And that's her prerogative. She can have sex if she wants to have sex. But what I'm saying as a man, if you're looking for a virgin, where can you find her? You would get a woman that's a born again virgin, but that's not a virgin. She meets you, she thinks that you are special, so she friend zone you, or she says, I don't want to have sex with you until you and I get married. And you go along with that. But the reality is that jerk that she was with a couple of months ago that she thought was no good, he was knocking her down. And so that makes a man think that if he just wants access to sex, that he needs to be a jerk. Why? Because the jerks are winning. The jerks are winning these women and getting access to sex. And listen, men aren't, for the most part, picky about where they get sex when they are single and out there trying to get sex. They just want somebody to open up the juice box and let them be wet. That's what they want. And they don't care what happens. You will have a lot of men that will tell you they like a big woman. They got the best sex. And you know what? Sometimes when a woman in society has Sometimes when a woman in a society doesn't feel like she's beautiful as other girls or whatever the case may be, that humbles her and she says, okay, I can't have the same standards that I would like to have. I got to kind of take, in some semblance, I got to kind of take what I can take. And so guys know that and they target them. And yes, if they're good to them, and these women will say, well, okay, when I get him, I'm going to know how to keep him. Oh, I'm going to cook for him. You know, a woman who has some size to her typically knows how to cook. And then you wonder why did he get with that big woman? And looks are important to guys because we're visual creatures, but it's big women that look good. But if that big woman takes care of me, she cooks for me, she cleans for me, she keeps my balls empty and she keeps my stomach full and she provides me peace, she's an excellent companion and she's willing to roll up her sleeves to help me, looks lose its value in terms of the process of selecting someone to build with. That's why you'll see when guys are just out there, the difference between fun girls and girls you build with is very, very simple. We don't mind if they have long eyelashes, fake hair, they get their body sucked, plucked, and snatched, and they do all of these different types of things to give the appearance that we want. We can be against that. We can, like, for an example, for me, now I'm married, but for me, if I were single, I could mess with a girl who wears weave. I could mess with a girl who wear eyelashes. I could mess with a girl who get butt shots. I could mess with a girl like that. You know what? Because they're aesthetically pleasing to my eyes. Even if they're not real, they're aesthetically pleasing. Now, I can talk about all I want. Hey, man, I don't like women that wear eyelashes. I don't like women that wear weaves. I don't like women that wear a lot of makeup or any makeup. I could be all of those things. And if I'm single, you'll see me with one of those. And you'll say, oh, what a hypocrite. No, because I'm with this girl because I want to have fun with her. If I wanted to marry her, then those things would be an issue for me because it doesn't reflect me. Now that sounds shallow, but hey, I'm just telling you how a lot of men think. And the men in my life that I have spoken to, they tell me the same thing. It's not just a one and done feeling. A lot of men feel like this. Even when they don't even know how to break it down and compartmentalize it, they know, hey, you know, the wife I'm looking for is virtuous, but I will gladly entertain that loose woman over there. Why? Because I just want to be entertained. Do you think that the women at the strip clubs are virgins? Maybe. But if you lined up 1,000 strippers, how many of them have had sex? And the perception of a stripper is already the perception of a stripper. So whether she's out there doing those things or not, the perception of her is that she's just a fun girl. And the problem with her being a fun girl for herself is if she's just a fun girl, then nobody's going to take her serious. So when she decides to get serious, the people whom she wants to get serious with don't take her serious. Even if she goes through this explanation and this montage about how that's just a job, that's just what she do. She doesn't go home and sleep with anyone. And she just goes home and she goes back to what she has to do. It's going to be hard for a man to really take that or be with her and accept the fact that a lot of men are touching on her. Or she could even say, I was once upon a time a stripper. A man will be like, oh man, well, most men will be like, I don't want to be in town and walk around and come across somebody snickering and laughing or recognizing my wife as somebody that they pipe down. And then stop this psychological bull about, yeah, well, that's because you're insecure. No, you want somebody to accept your footprint. And I'm just telling you, men do not care. Your past is important to a man. Now, there's some guys out there that don't care about your body count. They're not trying to build anything with you. Or they may want to entertain you for a period of time in their life, and they may come across like they're serious. Yeah, your body count don't matter to me, because he might see something that you bring to the table that is valuable to him for a period of time. But trust and believe, if he finds somebody that brings to the table what you bring to the table, and you have and they have less mileage and less experiences, what do you think's going to happen? What do you think happens? Those things are going to come into play. And I know, ladies, it doesn't feel like it's right. I'm not really talking to ladies, because ladies don't have these issues. It's the women that have some of these issues, and it's females that have all these issues. And like I said before, females have to develop into women, and women have to develop into ladies. There's a difference between the three. Ladies aren't out there being hoes. So if you're a lady, I don't care what you're trying to project. If in your heart of your hearts you're a lady, I'm not talking to you. And I'm not really talking to women either. But I'm talking to females. Because females have this problem. They don't care what they do today. It feels good today. They're not thinking about tomorrow. Then when tomorrow gets here, they're upset because something from their past is preventing them from having what they want. I found a great guy. I can't get him to take me seriously. Ever look in the mirror and figure out why? Ever look in the mirror and figure out why? There's your answer. Ladies and gentlemen, our choices are the reason that we are in the situations that we're in. Let me also explain something to you, ladies and gentlemen. This goes for both, okay? But I particularly want to speak to the ladies on this because it burns you the most. When you have sex with someone, okay, you already have a problem here. Because when you have sex with a man, he gives you something and you give him something. I'm not talking about STDs, but that's obvious if they have it. But what I'm saying is they give you something and you take something. You take something and you give something. Now what that something is, or what those somethings are, don't know. It depends on how the chemistry between the two of you works out and what's being exchanged. It's very complicated. But knowing that this happens should make you selective about whom you let sleep with you as a woman and who you sleep with as a man. Because if this person has traumas, undealt issues, they may pass them to you. Not only that, but when you sleep with someone, ladies, you could be a virgin sleeping with someone for the first time. How many people have that person slept with? And then the people that they slept with, how many people did they sleep with? So when you lay down and have sex with someone, quite possibly you're accessing thousands of souls and beyond. Thousands of undealt with issues, traumas, soul ties. So now you have all of that with you, and then you wonder why your pH balance is off. You wonder why there's issues that have developed inside of you, that you have all of these different types of traumas and things are happening to you because your DNA coding is being messed with because you want to go out there and you want to have fun. And fellas, you know, here's the thing about sex. You know, All real women have vaginas. They were born with them, right? All real women that have vaginas, if they're aroused, will get moist. Any woman that's promoting that she's always wet, she may have a problem. She shouldn't be wet all the time. She should be wet when she needs to be wet. And that juice box that she got between her legs is standard. Even you have some of them that have small labias, and you have some of them that have big labias. That has no bearing on the inside of her vagina. It has no bearing. Why? Because that's not indicative. The size of her clit, the size of her labia could be big. And when you enter her, it could be very tight, very small. It could be very shallow. Here's a little secret. Even if you're an average sized man, okay, most of the time you are able to reach in a woman the area that needs to be accessed for her to have enjoyment to the level beyond her expectations. If a woman says to you that a man needs to be super big, and you are super big, she's telling you there is an experience. And most women, this is facts, most women, they like to have fun with guys who are oversized, but they don't want to marry a guy that's oversized. They don't want the consistent and daily pounding that a man that's well hung will give her. So you fellas out here who are concerned about your size or whatever the case may be, listen, as long as you're about 6 inches and you know what you're doing, you can get the job done. Now, there are going to be women that don't prefer that. They're going to prefer more. But I'm just telling you, about 4 inches inside of a woman is where her spot is to really stimulate her. About 4 inches. And yes, if you are capable of being able to hit the cervix of a woman, if you do it right, yes, there is enjoyment in that for her. But most women don't even want to be concerned with you hitting their cervix. It's not my thoughts. I'm just telling you what women have said. And no, this doesn't go for all men and women. But what I am saying is in general. But here's the thing about you, big fella. If you are who you are and you come with what you come with, then being with the right woman will be what is necessary and will be what's satisfactory to her. From an ego standpoint, a man wants to be Long Dong King Kong. I get it. It's an ego thing. But the reality of this, and even our women have egos today. And their egos is, I want somebody that's gonna, I want somebody that's gonna blow my back out. I want somebody that's going to, I want a guy that's 10 inches, 12 inches, or whatever the case may be. There are some women out there that are like that. And if you have that, then you can do that. But if you don't have that, then you can't do that. You're not trying to get every woman out there. You're trying to get what you're trying to get. And that's it. So don't try to appease to all women. Just like ladies, you shouldn't try to appease to all men. But knowing who you are helps you understand what you need. But a lot of times we don't take time out to figure out who we are. And so we bump into all kinds of people that we don't need. And this is how we get our body counts up as men and women. And this is how we get soul ties as men and women. And this is how we envelop all kinds of things that we don't want from other people. And this is how we give away all the things. This is how we give away things about ourselves that we need or that we want. We give it away. In an optimal situation, when you're with the people that you're supposed to be with, because some of us out here believe in one person and some of us out here agree with multiple people as men. Okay, that's neither here nor there. But when you're with someone that vibes with you, that connects with you, and that's right for you, you want to release what is in you in them. And you want them to release what is in them in you. And you guys help heal each other in the process because you have a relationship with each other. But I'm just telling you from the standpoint, fellas, of if you're looking for a woman with little to no knowledge, it is very challenging to find that here. And you don't have to ask a woman if she has low knowledge. You could just see how she conducts herself in a normal environment. Now, she's going to 9 times out of 10 be on the best behavior if she has an interest in you. But if you have an opportunity to be around, and some people to do this, they work with someone. There's no initial attraction there, or whatever the case may be. They just work with them. That person is comfortable, relaxed, and they're in their element, or whatever the case may be. That's a great opportunity to be able to see something from somebody. Attraction does play a part for men more so than women, even though women want men that are attractive. But it's other things that women are seeking from a man because we have proof of that. Now, I'm not going to name any names, but you've seen men that are not really attractive to the masses bag a woman that's very attractive. Because once a woman gets to know a man, his looks become less and less important. I'm talking about women. I'm not talking about females. I'm not talking about, I'm talking about ladies and women. It means even more to a lady what's inside of a man. Women, if you want a woman with experience, that's fine too. But it's a lot that comes with the experience. There's habits and shapings that happen from her experience that make her who she is. And you have to determine what those things are. And I'd advise you before you have sex with her to find out what those things are, to make a determination if you can deal with those things. And ladies, you should be very concerned with whom you open yourself up to, because every relationship that ends in death. So something dies. Now, do you want to have a life riddled with death? Then you got to make better choices. And I'm not saying there are no guarantees, but there are things but there are red flags with people that you, if you pay attention to them, you can see them. And if you're not heavily invested in them, you can turn and walk away from them. But women too, so in a rush into having sex with somebody that after you have sex with them, you don't understand the portal has been opened and the damage is done, or the damaged parasites begin to work on you, whether you're a man or a woman. She opens up her portal. That's what we're going to call it, because it really is a portal, right? Because you extract something from the spirit world and manifest it into the natural realm. So that's beautiful about women. But she opens her portal to you, fellas. You go inside of her. Everything that's right and wrong is fair game to be put on you about her. And ladies, same thing. Everything is right and wrong about him is put on you. If he looks at you as a fun girl, he's not going to necessarily tell you you're a fun girl. If he knows that you seek a relationship, he's just going to say most of the time what he needs to say and do what he needs to do to get access to your portal. And then when he finishes with your portal, albeit some other portal holder comes by and they feel like that's better for them, you will see the time shrinkage, or you will see the time ending with him. And a lot of times there's no explanation, because most of the time women need closure, not men. We'll walk away from a situation and not think anything of it. And what makes us that way is the way that we're built and we're designed. Men are cold by nature. Men have to be, in relationships, men have to be taught predominantly how to love a woman if he didn't have a mom and dad to teach him. And I say mom and dad, I stress both. But when he gets in a relationship with you, you're teaching him how to love you the way you want to be loved. And when that relationship doesn't work out and he's learned how to love you, then he takes that to another person. And if it jives with another woman, that's fantastic for her, because he took that from you. That was something good he took from you. So she's like, wow, I've been searching my whole life for a man to love me the way you love me. And because you guys didn't have a clear understanding about what was going to happen between you two, he's taken that from you. And you might feel bitter that he took it from you because you gave a lot to him in that category. And then that affects you. So it makes you bitter. So the next man that comes along might be more deserving. And you don't give him as much access or no access to that aspect of you, because you feel like that everything that you do is going to end up in resulting in you being hurt. So not only that, your confidence got hurt. Your faith got hurt. Your trust has been hurt. And trust is like a glass. Anybody can get trust from the jump. You don't have to earn respect and trust, right? If you've never experienced hurt, you by nature, you give those things. But once you have those things compromised, trust and love and all that other stuff like that, you give differently, you move differently. And sometimes the way you move, it impedes you from ultimately accomplishing what you sought out from the beginning, which was a meaningful relationship that you can grow with and build with and create a legacy with. So how do you know, ladies, what to look for? Well, you know what to look for by having guidance. As a woman, you are always to be covered. From the time that you're born, you are to be covered by your father. If for some strange reason your father isn't there, there needs to be a man who has the best interest of you involved in your life to help guide you. It could be a brother, a bigger brother. It could be an uncle. It's not the same thing as a father. No one can replace a father. But in this society, we're taught that fathers are replaceable. I don't like you. I know I have your child. I don't really like you. I'm going to find another man to be a father to your child. No man in his right mind is going to hold value for something that he didn't create as much as he holds value for something that he created. He may really discipline himself to try, but he's never going to see something that he didn't create as his investment. Because if he does, he can get burnt by the end of the relationship. You go out there and you go out there and you marry a woman who has children, and you develop a fantastic relationship with the children, and nobody seems to know that those children don't belong to you. The way you treat them, to walk with them and talk with them, guide them, support them. And then all of a sudden the relationship with you and that guy doesn't work anymore. It's over. There is no court in America that's going to give him access to those children after the thing is over between you two. So men are aware of this because we're in the information age and we see these things happening all the time. This was my stepdaughter. This was my stepson. We had a great relationship with each other. Me and mom didn't work out. Mom could not compartmentalize the relationship that I had with the children versus the relationship that I had with her. And since I don't have access to her anymore, I cannot have access to the children. And in a lot of cases, even when you biologically have a child with a woman and she doesn't want to be with you or you don't want to be with her anymore, she is oftentimes, if emotional, I will say this, if she is If she's emotional, she won't be able to separate the difference between the relationship that she had with you and the relationship that you had with your child. And oftentimes that bitterness and that resentment will spill over into you being able to see your own biological child. You'll have to go to court to get access to your rights. And the courts don't enforce the rights that they give you. I know this from experience, player. So now what? Now what? Nothing. So what I'm saying is men and women have to do their homework on each other before they commit and take the plunge. Because really and truthfully, the sex is what makes you get married. Consummating is what makes you get married. Literally, when you sleep with a man or a woman, whatever you are, you literally consummating a relationship with that person. So when you casually have sex with them and there's no honoring of what's consummated, that's fornication. That's fornication. And of course, we know that if you consummate with somebody who's already been consummated and in a relationship with somebody else, fellas, I'm talking to you, then that's adultery for you. But for women, adultery for you is when you're already consummated anybody that you sleep with. You know what I'm saying? So you have to you have to do your due diligence. And I know that we like to have sex. But does sex rule you or do you rule sex? Because if you are ruled by sex, even if you get in a relationship with a woman, she knows how you're crazy about sex, she will control you with her portal. She will make you do things if you know you're going to have a compromise in access to that portal she got. Yeah, y'all in a relationship, she should give it to you unconditionally. But a woman is hard pressed to ignore the power of her portal. She knows it's a power. Why do you think it shapes like a wallet? She's sitting on a gold mine. So if that's the case, and she knows she has power in it, she's going to be tempted to use her power to get what she wants. So, but if you are a man who has conquered sex, like it doesn't rule you, and she knows she can't use her portal to make you do something or make you stop doing something, then she has no power over you and you won't get distracted on your purpose. You get distracted on your purpose because you're so enamored with sex. And look, sex is wonderful, it's beautiful, and it's purposeful. But if it's going to be used against me, it's not going to work. I'll go without it. I'll go 7 days, 14 days, 21 days. I'll go as long as I need to go without it. And guess what? If it's too long that I go without it, I'll ultimately make a decision about the relationship, because sex is important in a relationship, not for recreation only. Procreation, communication, connectivity, soul ties. You need to be tied to the soul of the person that you are building with. You don't need to be tied to the soul of the person that you're not building with. So when we think about sex, when we think about sex in general, what say you that you are tied to that woman that you don't have anything with? Oh, I just go around there and just hit it. It's cool, it's whatever. Until she started becoming a problem for you. Because you done piped her down real good, right? Pipe her down real good. Give her a feeling that she's hard pressed to come across. That will have a play on her emotions. There's a song by this girl, and she talks about being the side woman on the weekend. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Fine. But if you don't, it doesn't matter. But she talks about being the side woman. She just wants to be the side woman on the weekend. Your girl can have you during the week, but on the weekend, that's my time. But after a certain time, that becomes not enough for her. So now she wants to spill into the weekday. And then that puts that man in a compromising situation because he can't be in two places at one time. And unless he's healthy, he's not going to be able to jump from one situation and immediately jump to the other situation without any notice. Let me give you a case in point. With men, there's a certain amount of fluid that comes out of a man when he ejaculates. Now, if a man hasn't had any release after a certain period of time, chances are there's going to be more ejaculate that comes from him. But if a man ejaculates and then he's summoned to either the same portal or a different portal, when he releases, it's not going to be much as it was when he released the first time. It might still be a lot because of maybe what he produces, but it typically isn't going to be as much as it was when he hadn't released in a while and he releases. So oftentimes, ladies, you'll know how much he's releasing when y'all get together after a certain period of time. So if y'all ain't doing nothing, and then all of a sudden y'all get together, now for me, it's about 24 hours. If in 24 hours, I'm pretty charged up, I'm pretty full. And when I release, it's going to be maximum release. And a lot of guys are like that. But now, if it's been, 3 or 4 days, and he hasn't released, and he doesn't have a medical problem, okay? So instead of accuse him, find out if it's a medical problem. But if he releases and little to nothing comes out, then either he's been taking care of it himself, or somebody else is taking care of it for him. See, nature gives us clues to everything. We just have to pay attention. And some of us aren't in tune. And I didn't mean to veer over here. What I was really trying to tell you, men, is in general, if you want to be with a woman that is not experienced, the chances are, because of this society that we live in America, you may have to go outside of America to find her. Now, if you're like me, I think all women are beautiful, but my preference has always been Black and Latino women. And the reason why is because I like to look at someone that I can identify with, just like a lot of people, Caucasian. There's nothing wrong with a Caucasian person saying, I want to be long-term with a Caucasian person. They may say, you know what, I can go out there and I'm willing to, open my portal to any race of people. But when it comes to when I want to build and have children, I want to have what I want to have. And there's nothing wrong with you wanting to have what you want to have. And if you're the type of person that want to have something that's different than what you are, that's fine too. You want to be with somebody that has another ethnicity, like if you are a Black man and you want to be with a white woman or vice versa, it is your choice to do whatever you want to do. No knock to you, okay? Just make sure that you understand that when you're dealing with an Americanized woman, when you're dealing with a woman in this society, and it's some similar to some other societies too, but there are some ethnicities or I shouldn't say ethnicities because Black people aren't just in America. There are cultures that have discipline and raise their women with discipline. So she's not running around here passing the portal to anybody that she wants to have it. You're going to have to, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have to go outside of the United States to find her. And there's all wonderful kinds of beautiful countries, okay? There's South America, there is Mexico, there is Canada, there's Brazil, there is Dominican Republic, there is Cambodia, there is the Philippines. There's a lot of different places. It depends on what you want, but you need to do some homework and research cultures, how they're raised, and typically how people turn out, so that you know that you're shopping in the right area. I liken this to, let's use lions. Okay? Did you know typically the most skilled hunter, so we say men hunt, right? Did you know that typically the most skilled hunter is the lionesses? Yeah, they're the most skilled hunter. Here's another thing you may not know about lions. Typically, the females go out and they hunt for the food and bring it back to the pride, while the men guard the pride and protect the children. That happens with a lot of prides. Now, it doesn't mean that men don't hunt. It doesn't mean that lions don't hunt. Because lions can not only go hunting, sometimes lions can leave their pride for quite some time and go who knows where and come back whenever. Because sometimes there are teenagers teenage males in that pride, and they can guard the pride. See, guarding the pride it is not the same thing as hunting for food. And a lot of times guarding something is nature, but hunting is skill. For instance, if a lion is hunting an antelope, that antelope is fast. And lions typically can run 100 yards. Okay? After 100 yards, they done. But antelopes can run farther, and they're typically faster. So what does a lioness have to do? Lion or lioness? They have to be stealth. They have to be stealth. And they have to use the element of surprise. Because there's disadvantages that they have, but there's advantages that they have. Once they get their paws, their teeth on the kill, it's over with. They will clamp on their neck, suffocate them, and when they die, they'll either eat on the Johnny spot, or if they know that hyenas are around, they know that they got to get their kill out of there. And they got to get them around the other lions. And they bring that to the other lions. And then a lot of them are eating, but whether it's lionesses or lions, they're peeping out for anybody that's trying to steal their food. And this is what they got to do to survive. Leopards hunt for food too, but they don't have the advantages that lions have. So leopards, when they hunt for food, they have to be extremely calculated because they're not as strong as lions. And they're more apropos to a hyena taking their kill. So guess what they have to do a lot of times? A lot of times a leopard has to take their kill up in a tree. Why? Because anything that can crawl up to the tree isn't a threat for them. But a hyena, it cannot climb trees. It can sit there and it can try to wait for it, but hyenas are not really patient. They'll look up in the tree, they'll smell the kill, they'll want it, but then if it doesn't come down, if they don't come down for a while, which they don't, they just run on and they look for something else. Because by nature, hyenas are thieves and scavengers. So like when things are plush and plentiful and and there's rain and there's water in the area, that draws all the animals in. And so that leaves plenty for lions, leopards, and things to kill. But when there's a drought and the land is barren, a lot of animals leave to go find water, but they don't make it out. And so they leave, they just sit there, and so some of them just die. This is when hyenas thrive, because then they can just go and they can pick it up. And things like wild, and I'm going through the animal kingdom because it's so important to understand that nature, because we are part of nature too. And then like wild dogs, they move in packs of like 30 and 40, but they don't get the opportunity to be able to kill, bring back to their home what they kill. A lot of times they catch something and they have to begin eating it alive. Because albeit wild dogs can run at 30 miles an hour for 4.5 miles, they are not as strong as a lion, a hyena, or anything of that nature. So a lot of times when they kill something, right when they kill that animal is fighting and they're biting, because they know 9 times they got to eat whatever they can, because when their enemies come, they're 9 times out of 10 going to have to leave that carcass there. And then if they are in a big group, that buys them time to stay, because some of them will feed and then some of them will keep watch. So fellas, you got to know what you have an appetite for, and then you got to know where it is. And then you got to stop complaining and you got to go where it is. Listen, if you're looking for a beautiful black woman who's submissive and who will be a great companion and will be a great helpmate and put family first and not career and not self-interest, her self-interest is going to be family and the things that you want. You're probably not going to be able to find that in America. You might have to go to another country that has what you're looking for. See, what I also mentioned here too is this. I'm not saying that lions are not great hunters, but what gives them the advantage is their strength and their physicality. But now watch this. When a lion has the skill to go with that, there is no competition. He can have whatever he wants. See, typically a lioness is hunting for warthogs and things that they can overwhelm. Typically, they're not hunting for elephants, because an elephant can crush them. Even when they hunt for warthogs have these horns, lion or lioness, that if that horn gets in them, it could kill them. So they have to be skilled when they're dealing with that. But at least when they get a warthog, a sizable warthog, it is enough meat to share with the few with the pride. Especially if she's got young. It'll be enough for her and the young. So she might eat some of it right on the spot, but she's dragging it back to her pride. And then when she drags it back to her pride, if it's a full pride, typically the king of the pride is going to scare off the teenagers and everybody else so that the young can eat. Why? Because he knows that the young are going to grow up and make his dynasty more formidable. I'm telling y'all some facts, man. Listen, if you want a woman that doesn't have a lot of mileage, I'm not saying she's not in America, but there are other things about this society that, not just her having mileage, that will pull a woman from her feminine nature. Because a woman operating in her femininity and the fullness thereof, if she's dealing with the man operating in his masculinity, well, there's no competition. There's no competition, and there's no issues for real. They will get along well because masculinity in its purest form goes perfectly with femininity and its purest form. When you deal with a woman that's carrying masculine energy, it's tension, it's fighting, it's bickering, it's competition. Or coupling that with the man operating in femininity. Women don't, but see, feminine and feminine doesn't fight with each other like that. Masculine and masculine is always like that. See, true feminine energy is supportive of other feminine energy because it makes a stronger feminine energy. You ever been in a room full of women conducting themselves with feminine energy as a man? You feel overwhelmed with happiness and joy because that is the safest place for you to be, is with feminine energy. So ladies, if you want to, ladies, some of y'all got some of the most bangingest bodies. Y'all have some of the most bangingest faces. Some of y'all got the silhouette of a Coke bottle. It is designed as bait to get a man, but it is not designed to keep a man. That's not going to keep a man. Your portal is not going to keep a man. If it was going to keep a man, why have Halle Berry had so much failure when it has come to marriage? Halle Berry was once upon a time known at a period of being the most beautifulest woman in the world. And even today, Halle Berry is beautiful and well kept. But that is only going to get the hunter's attention. But if you get the hunter's attention, what do you have about you that's going to keep the hunter's attention? Because you got to be able to keep them. That's the definition of a woman, a good woman versus a bad one. Can she keep what she's baited? So I understand to a degree that you are advertising yourself, but how are you advertising yourself? These American women today, not all of them, but a lot of these American women today will do anything to advertise themselves. See my chest, see my butt, see my legs, see my thighs. Do you see my camel toe? Yeah, I got it. Come get it. And they will have many, many followers. And in a lot of cases, they'll make a lot of money from their followers and their attention. But when they find a man who wants to be serious with them, they have a hard time shutting that down. And that's what a man is ultimately going to want you to do. Now, there are some instances where maybe you guys have business arrangements where you're doing those types of things in terms of promoting and advertising yourself, and you do it tastefully. Listen, your curves are your curves. But if you are showing flesh in areas that you shouldn't be showing flesh in, you're going to get a stir from men that you want and don't want. And maybe you're in and this is what a lot of ladies don't understand because they're in their emotions. You're doing what you're doing and you're attracting what you're attracting, and you have a problem with what you're attracting. If you're with someone, you shouldn't be attracting anyone. Can't you do and conduct business without showing your goodies? Because I'm going to tell you, guys in general, the best of them, the priests, the ministers, the pastors, or whatever else you hold in a high regard, presidents, they're going to be attracted to the shenanigans. Don't get it twisted. They're going to be the ones that sit there and act like they don't look at women. Those are the ones you got to worry about, because even a married woman can acknowledge another beautiful woman. But what's going to get a married man really riled up is the more he sees. And some of you are going out here and you're showing so much. How can you find a happy balance as a woman of showing as little as possible, but creating the illusion, the imagination in a man, the imagery of a man to get him to be intrigued by your mysteriousness and the enticement. That's the healthy balance, not throwing it all out there. See, when you throw it all out there, don't be mad that everybody, look, like I used about the jungle. If a big old elephant is on the ground dead, that is a meal to more than just one set of animals. That is a meal for anybody that can break the skin on an elephant. And the smaller the smaller that animal is that discovers that elephant, the less amount of time they're going to have to enjoy that elephant, because other animals can smell from miles a kill or a dead animal. Vultures are flying in the sky to alert animals that they are over there about to kill. See, animals are in tune with nature better than humans are typically in tune with nature. So they know the signs. They see the signs and they know, hey, look, I come over here, I see a bunch of vultures flying around in circles. I need to make my way over there and see what's up. The first animal that finds out outside of buzzards or vultures that food is available is the one that's going to be able to eat. But instinctually, because they're in tune with nature, they know their strengths and weaknesses and they know their adversaries. So if it's a lion can stay there and eat. But if it's any other animal, they've got to be able to either move that carcass or they're going to have to eat what they can eat until their adversaries come around. Now, even with the elephant, lions ain't moving elephants, but they can stay there if there's enough of them and fight off anybody else that want it. This is why they're the king of the jungle. And no, lions have 550 PSIs in their bite, but hyenas have 1,100 PSIs in their bite. So, and technically, hyenas' bites are twice as worse than a lion's bite, but hyenas are cautious and uncertain. Lions are fearless and brave. Even if they're outnumbered, they are ready to do what they got to do. Fear is not something that typically comes with a lion, but fear is something that comes with a hyena. And a hyena will try them, but the hyena has to see an advantage, and they get their confidence when they got their boys with them. But a lone hyena ain't messing with a lion, because a lion, where he doesn't make up in bite, he makes up in totality of strength. So you gotta, like I said, I want to wrap this up. Fellas, you gotta know what it is that you want, and you gotta know what it takes to get what you want. And if you're in an area that is not supplying you what you need, then you need to build yourself up to put yourself in a position to be able to get to where you need to get what it is that you need and want to have. See, because the more you have as resources, the more you're able to produce as a man, the more options you're going to have. And women, this is how it typically works. Women can have any man that they want, and men can only have the women that they can get. So if you want to be able to get a certain caliber of women, or a certain caliber of woman, whatever it is you prefer, you've got to work on yourself. And you've got to be able to master produce. You got to be able to master protect, and you need to be able to master provide. Here is the reason that you need to be able to. Here's why you can't just be one. If you are able to produce whatever you capture, you'll lose. Take the leopard. A leopard is probably more skilled than they are definitely more skilled than a lioness, even a lioness. Why? Because a leopard can get within 5 feet of their prey without knowing. They are that stealth. And they have to overcompensate in that category, because they are they're very much so not stronger than lionesses or lions. So they have to be stealth. They can't sit there and eat their food when they catch it, no matter what they catch. They have to focus on catching something that they can drag. They can't, they see a hyena, They see a zebra. I mean, yeah, them too. They see a zebra, they see an elephant, they see a giraffe. They can't mess with those. It's no point. They'll waste a lot of energy killing. They'll waste a lot of energy if they can kill them, but they won't have the strength to be able to drag them up the tree. So they have to understand. So knowing this, they understand what they should hunt for and what they shouldn't hunt for. And it's the same thing if you're a woman. If you're a woman, you have to know what you want to hunt you, and you have to make sure that you have what the hunter wants, and you have to make sure that you have what the hunter will want and need to keep you. Because we're not talking about hunting for you to kill you. We're talking about hunting for you to secure you for him and what he's trying to build. So a woman, she has to be able, and this is where you go wrong, ladies. You get your advice for what a man wants from another woman. You can't do that. You cannot do that. You have to, a woman wants this is what happens. A woman wants a man to cook. A man wants a woman to cook, clean, take care of the children, keep his balls empty, keep his stomach full. And your girlfriends are laughing at that. Child, please. Girl, you better go out there and get your career. Girl, you better go out there and put your interests before anything else. Girl, you better do you and be independent. And then what does that get you? Nothing. You end up with sorry men who simp and lie to posture themselves to get access to your portal. And when they finish with your portal, they leave you high and dry. And then you come to the accumulation that all men are dogs. No. See, some hunt for fun, for sport, and some hunt to eat. And you don't get the difference. You don't understand that all men, you can call all men dogs. Because guess what? By nature, we're not monogamous. Okay? All of us are by nature not monogamous. But there are men out there that want to build. And in order to build, you have to be able to say no to some of the things that you want to do for sport. If I'm trying to build with my wife, I can't be out there hunting women for sport because I'm going to jeopardize losing my wife. And if I'm built or I'm building or want to build with my wife, then I've got to be able to sacrifice some things. Now, if it's important for me to have more than one wife, it is my responsibility to tell my wife that I want more than one woman. But I got to be able to have the propensity to be able to handle more than one woman. What is the point in me having more than one woman and I can't handle the one I got? So you have to make sure as a woman, if you want to be hunted, if you put yourself completely out there, you're going to be hunted by everybody. You're going to be hunted by the good guys, the bad guys, and everything in between. And you don't want the bad guys. Clearly, that shows. You don't want the in-betweens. Clearly, that shows. You want a caliber of man, albeit the caliber of men that you want are unrealistic. But I'm gonna go down that road with you. Even if what you want is rare, hard, or impossible to find, do you have what it takes to attract that? And here's where you go wrong, ladies. If you are using artificial to attract a man, when you part from artificial, he's going to feel differently about you. And it's not fair for a man. You beat your face up to the gods. It's not fair for a man to expect you to keep your makeup on because you look so good in it and you don't when you take it off. You have all kinds of skin problems and everything else, blotches, this, that, and the other. And you could be doing something. You spend and expend your energy putting makeup on and mastering that, but you don't spend any time doing the things that you need to do to take care of your skin and treat your skin so that you have healthy skin. You spray Bath and Body Works all over your secret places on your body. And it smells good, but then all of a sudden your pH is jacked up. And when you're not wearing that, he all of a sudden smells something fishy. Look, I'm not saying that you can't wear any makeup and hair or whatever the case may be. That's not my, I'm not in a situation to be able to ask that of you or whatever the case may be. But if you're doing it to cover a flaw about you that could be addressed, that's the issue. That's the issue. If you take off your makeup and your man is still attracted to you, cool. I can tell you this though, if you're always wearing makeup and you have pores that are blocked and covered, you have pores because because your skin needs oxygen. So can you imagine something if I covered my nose and my mouth and I didn't breathe, wouldn't I turn purple? Wouldn't lack of oxygen? So the largest organ on your body is your skin and you keep it covered. That can't be good. So I understand if it's a special event, if it's a special occasion that you put on something on your face. I get that. But even in doing that, can you please do it in moderation? Or do you look like a totally different person? You want to have the illusion of cheekbones and you want to have these contours on your face? But did you know you have a chance of showing that if you did what you needed to do to make your face not rounder? And there's nothing wrong with a round face. It's something wrong when you can't accept your round face, that you have to project something that you're not. That's the issue. Now, if it's a special occasion and you're doing it, I get that. I understand. I can comprehend it. I don't understand it totally, but I can comprehend why you would do it for a special occasion. But we're getting but our women are going crazy with this makeup, with these eyelashes. Man, putting makeup that don't match their skin, that the face look one color, the neck look like another color, hands look like something else. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. And then you have the expectation that a man is always supposed to make sure your nails done, always make sure your toes are done, always make sure that you got weave flowing out of your hair, and always make sure that you have accessories for your makeup. And it's just like, is that an asset or a liability? It can be an asset if he's going to close a deal and he takes you with him. But the idea of wearing weave or the idea of wearing makeup is to create the illusion, at least, that it looks real. But y'all have gone crazy with it. Yeah, I know it ain't real. Y'all have had a hair sitting this high up off y'all head. Y'all will be dark skinned and you see a light line through here because that's how it looks with the weave that's parted. And it's just crazy. And you don't give any thought to, I want to enhance and improve myself, but I want to look as close to as close to who I am as possible. Maybe you got a blotch here and a blotch here. You put a little bit of whatever you put there to blend it all in. You know, maybe you want to wear some eyeshadow because it's a special occasion. Okay, do that. You want to put on some lipstick? Cool. Put on some lip gloss? Man, hey, I love the lip gloss. But I mean, you can see where you didn't even do a good job on the foundation on your face. And you can see where your skin ends and where this makeup begins. Like, it's just, y'all just rush and do it. Like, y'all don't even do it good. A lot of y'all don't. So, but again, I'm telling you, when he comes home, he's going to want to see what you really look like. And I'm going to just tell you right now, if he ain't attracted to what he looked like, it's going to probably be a problem. You got to know what it takes. You got to know who you want to hunt you, where they are, how you can fit in the environment of where they are, and knowing what they will need when they get you to keep them and keep their interest. And that's the part that is just negated. And then you saying that, and then when it happens, when is there a propensity to look in the mirror and say, why did this happen? Why did I lose it? Why did I lose it? You say, well, I give him Portal all the time and he cheated on me. Why didn't you have a real conversation with him and just give him like, hey, look, man, listen, I understand that women are not like men and men are not like women. Hey, listen, if you had your way about it, just be honest. Just be honest with me. Look, I could be cool with it. Hey, do you want to be in a monogamous relationship, or if given the opportunity, would you like to be in a relationship with more than one woman? Do you want to be in a relationship with one woman, and do you want to be able to play around with other women? Because, there are women out there that's cool with any of those situations, given that she has the energy for it. I'm not going to name a celebrity couple, but there was a celebrity couple where the woman understood that when that man traveled, he was going to be exposed to a lot of women. So she said, hey, listen, I know that that's going to happen. I can't stop that. Here's what I just want you to do. I just don't want you to, I don't want it to come back to my doorstep. Don't go out there and get somebody pregnant. Don't go out there, do the things you got to do to protect yourself so you don't bring anything back to me. And some of you will look and say, I would never. Well, when you get with a certain man at a certain level, at a certain caliber, he's going to have more options than most people. Now, here's the problem. You want a man of high caliber, but you are not accepting of what options are available to him. That's what you're going to have to consider. If you're dealing with a man that is really, really good looking, he's going to get more attention from women than typically a man does. So you want that, but are you ready to deal with the fact, even if he says no to all of them, are you ready to deal with the fact that he's going to be dealing with, or he's going to have to deal with a lot of women wanting him? If you don't want to do that, then maybe you might need to step it down on the looks department. Go find you somebody that isn't attractive, and then you won't have to deal with that much. But even if you find somebody that's not attractive, that is not the main precursor for a woman that's operating in her femininity. Because a woman can be with a man that is not attractive, but he has the ability to produce, provide, and protect. Now, let me go back to this too, because I got to talk to the fellas. If you have the ability to produce, this is what I was saying earlier. If you have the ability to produce, but you can't protect what it is that you produce, it's no good. If you have the ability to protect, but you don't have anything to protect, it's no good. If you have the ability to, I guess providing is the same thing as producing. And that's what women want. They want a man who can provide and protect. And a lot of times she determines that a man can provide and protect by symbols. It's sad, it's unfortunate, but a lot of women won't talk to a man that doesn't have jewelry around his neck. Now, I don't want to deal with women like that if I'm single, but what I'm saying is a lot of women don't want to deal with a man that doesn't have jewelry around his neck, that doesn't wear certain name brand clothes, this, that, and the other. If this wasn't an issue with women, men would not be into designer. We are too simple. We are too simple. We do it for the females. Whether we're serious about having a woman or not, all of us like to hunt for sport. It's in our nature to hunt. And you know what we do when we hunt? Listen, you ever seen like a fishing show? You've been flipping channels. I know some of you don't watch fishing shows, but you ever been flipping channels and you've seen a camera crew filming some guys on a boat fishing, right? And you just say, okay, and then they catch the fish, they show it to you, and they throw it back in the ocean. You know, at the core of a man, that's what we like to do. We like to see how many fish we can catch. And then we like to show everybody that we catch them. We catch them easy. And then we like to throw the fish back in the ocean. But some men are out there and they want to hunt with a purpose. They don't want to expend their energy just hunting fish. Okay? Because they want to expend their energy building. And see, there's a certain amount, like I said about even a leopard. A leopard expends so much energy hunting for food that they have to make the calculations correct. Because if they don't, they'll starve and die. It's too many elements against them. They are not the super predators. They are predators, but they're not the super predators that a lion is. That's top level predator. Ain't the only real adversary that a lion has for real is the hyena or a group of elephants. They are apprehensive with a group of elephants because they know that the elephants can trample them. Elephants weigh tons. So depending on who you are is dependent on the limitations the strengths and ability, the limits that you have. I'm going to take myself for an example. When I grew up, I was always more superior in my athleticism. I'll just use that one thing. I was always more superior in my athleticism. And then when I got to college, I ended up getting huge. So when I was in college, I was running at 4.340. I was 238 pounds and I had about 8% body fat. And I was like the third or fourth fastest guy on my team. Shout out to me. That's no lie. But guess what? The other guys on my team did a better job and was producing more because there were areas that I lacked that they didn't lack. They had extreme skill. You know, you had guys that understood how to break down film. I didn't know how to break down film when I got to college. And when I was in high school, I was just completely dominant because of my overly athleticism, being overly athletic. But when I got to college, there were guys that were athletic. I mean, I was special in certain areas, but there were certain areas I didn't know what the heck to do. I did not know how to look at film and break it down. And for the life of me, it used to irritate me to no end that we couldn't just watch the film from end to beginning, but the coach kept rewinding it. Like, that'll tell you how I just didn't understand the importance of breaking down film. And I played defense, so I was reactionary. Not understanding that as a defensive player, that I had to be able to know what the offense was going to do so that I could be tipped off to put myself in a better position to make plays. The only interceptions that I would make as a defensive back when I first got to the Ohio State, in practice, mind you, is when balls were tipped. And then I was athletically able to catch it. I remember one time a ball was tipped. I didn't do anything special to get in a position, but the ball was tipped and I was in the vicinity to catch the ball. Once I caught the ball, I was so confident that no one would stop me from scoring. And that's what happened. But the coaches was trying to develop the skills necessary in me to put me in the most desirable situations to make plays that would benefit the team. And had I learned how to do that, I would have been on the field, definitely. Because I was big as a linebacker and I was fast as a wide receiver. But and that's just the example that I gave you of a lion. A lion might physically have all of the tools that they need, but they really learn from the women. They learn from the females how to be patient and stealth and hunt. And when a lion takes upon those skill sets and develop those skill sets, they got everything working for them. This is what it means as a man when you focus and concentrate on yourself. Now, let me give you a case in point. Let's use somebody as an example. Let's take somebody who had the God-given ability, but had the skill, I would choose Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant used to work like he had no skill. He used to work like he had no ability. He was hungry. When guys were utilizing the life of the NBA, going out to clubs, getting girls or whatever the case may be, and working out once or maybe twice a day, he was working out 3 and sometimes 4 times a day. He made the sacrifice. And see, both individuals, the one that plays and the one that doesn't want to play, they both have energy. It's just about when a man is trying to build something, he is selective where he wants to put his energy. And ladies, you need to identify where he's putting his energy by how he moving. Is he going to work all the time? Is he building a business all the time? He's showing you what's important to him by where he spends his time. I don't believe anybody in this world when they say I'm too busy to do certain things. No, you are not too busy to do anything, because the things that you want to do, the things that you have an interest in doing, whether you're a guy or a girl, you're going to make time to do it. Listen, for me, I have an advertisement company. I have an insurance company. Okay. I have a foundation. Okay. And then I have something that I do with real estate that requires a lot of attention. But I bet you that I make time to play my Madden. Why? Because I want to. And people will make time. So when you're dealing with somebody and they're not making time for you, you don't have to ask, are you too busy for me? Do you love me? Can you spend time with me? Look, take it for what it is. If they are not spending time with you and you guys don't have an understanding that this is a period for them to do something for what you guys are trying to build, I'm not talking about guys like that. If a guy don't have a lot of time because he's building, he's out there, hold on. If a guy doesn't have a lot of time because he's out there building something for his family, he's building an agency, he's building a real estate business, he's building a clothing company, that's where he's spending his time, and then he takes the resources from that and he comes back and you benefit from it richly. That's one thing. That's one thing. It's another thing when a guy doesn't have time to spend with you and he's doing activities that doesn't produce anything for you and what you came together and agreed to build. This is what I mean by the difference between hunting for sport and hunting for purpose. A man will hunt for a woman for sport. He will get a woman. He will show his audience, look what I got. And he will throw her back in the sea. Where the old adage, there are plenty of fish in the sea. But a man who has other things that he's trying to work on and build, when a man has other things that he is trying to build, he doesn't have time to hunt for sport. He has to hunt for a purpose. What do you think it looks like to a hungry man who doesn't have anything to eat and sees a man catch a fish or catch fish and just throw them back and just stay out there all day? Just catch fish, take pictures, throw them back into the ocean. What does that look like for a man that's hungry? You start to say as a man, like, man, I can't believe you would do something like that. Man, that would be a good fish. That would be a good piece of fish to eat. If I was in that situation, I would put that in my cooler and I'm taking it home. Me and family got to eat. We starving. That's the difference. So when ladies, you don't offend us when you say all men are dogs. So I'm a dog. I'm a dog. I'm a dog. I'm a row. I'm a dog. But guess what? I hunt with a purpose. See, I already have a wife. What I'm hunting for is purposeful. I'm trying to get out there and bring meat back to the table so that we may eat. Because I have wife and children. And I have other responsibilities. I have relatives that depend on me. So I don't have any time. Like, I don't have time to sit around and just wait. I have to be intentional about what I'm doing and when I'm doing it. I said I play my video game, but I have to schedule time to play my video game. I can't just play it anytime that I want to, because I got too many things that's going on. Least I want them to suffer. But see, when men let things that need to be done suffer because of what they want to do, they're not developed men. And ladies, you can't make a man develop unless he wants to develop. Yes, a woman can build a man up or tear a man down, but he has to have something to work with for you to expend energy in. And if a man doesn't expend energy in the things that he's supposed to do, there's nothing you can do. He's not going to do it until he's ready to do it, because you're not stronger than him, you're not faster than him, you're not bigger than him. You have the physical disadvantage to make a man do something. And why would you want to be with a man that you can use a weapon to manipulate to do something for you? It's two ways to get respect out there. You can get respect because you earn it, or you can get respect through fear. But when you get respect through fear, the one that you are getting to respect you out of fear, it's just a moment and a twinkling before they're going to try to come and take your place or dethrone you. Nobody respects shortcuts. Everybody respects hard work. You know that bodybuilder that used steroids? When everybody know he uses steroids, they always say, yeah, but he used steroids. But the bodybuilder that doesn't use any performance enhancing drugs and they win competitions and stuff like that, that's a man to be respected. Because he's got a blueprint of how it can get done. You know, it's the guy that's lying about the performance enhancing drugs, making you feel like they're doing the work, or beating their chest like it's something special about them to get that. I remember one time there was a company that I worked for, and there was a guy, he was a real good producer. And he was brought in front of the group, and he was saying, and they wanted to know, hey, look, what do you do? We want to emulate this success. And I was getting frustrated because I wasn't producing as much as him. And I know I was working very hard, and I was a great producer. I was one of the best producers, but this guy, there was a significant amount of production that he was doing above me. And then I'd listen to him, his story. Hey, how did you get to produce like that? Well, the first thing I do is I wake up at 5:45 every morning. I get my cup of coffee and I get myself ready and I need to go work out. Mind you, this guy was rotund as hell. Okay. He was fat as I don't know what. So he didn't, shout out to the big people. But what I'm saying is, be big if you want to be big, but don't be acting like you ain't big when you are big. That's the problem. So he was sitting there and he didn't look like he ever seen a gym. Yet and still he talked about how he gets to working out and he works out for an hour. And then he would go about his day. He'd have a phone in his right hand and he'd have a phone in his left hand, and he would dial with this phone, and this one ring, dial with this phone, and this one will ring, and he will hold them up to his head, and then he would do the first one that answered, he put the other one down, and then he did his pitch, and he didn't care what happened. He did the best he could, and he just kept doing it. And he did that for I don't know how long. And then he would get appointments where he had to go to people's houses, and then he was driving and he was talking on both phones while he was driving. He was talking on both phones while he was driving, like he had a Tesla or something, which he didn't. And he was sitting there and he was trying to close deals while he was in the car. And he was writing in, then that third arm came from under his rib, and then it wrote on notebooks what he was hearing on both phones, that he had 4 ears now that he could hear 2 things, and it was ridiculous. Oh, and it's late at night, and I remember I just got to get one more. I got to get one more. Sounds good. But I got to get one more. So, the street lights on. First of all, man, you hard pressed today to find street lamps. But I go under the street light and I'm just like, one more call, one more call, one more call, one more call. And I'm sitting there and I'm trying not to laugh in his face, because I'm like, you telling this story and who do you think believes in it? But he's trying to justify his production, only to later find out what he was doing to make the money that he was making is he was lying on people's applications. He was lying on people's applications, saying things about them that they weren't. And it was legally putting these people in trouble, but he was long gone. Sat down one day at one of the meetings outside of the office, and he was out there smoking, and he said, you know, I'm afraid for people to call me back. And his voicemail would say, call these other people if you have questions, issues, or concerns. And then at that point, I didn't feel bad. I really didn't feel bad that this guy was outperforming me, because he was doing things illegally to perform. And that's why you got to be careful of what other people's success are. And that's, ladies, why you got to be careful that if you run across a good man and he ain't making $500,000 a year or whatever the case may be, making like $80,000, $90,000. Do you understand that the average black man makes about $42,000 a year? And we got all of this inflation and everything going up. So if he's making $80-some thousand a year, that is more than something to work with. You might be missing your blessing trying to wait for the man that's making $500,000 a year. You trying to find a man to make $500,000 a year, and nobody lives in your community that makes $500,000 a year. Not understanding, like I said, you got to know where they are. And then you got to be able to understand too, you're not the only one where they are. They are not, there is competition at the marketplace. So when you show up, with your beat to the face gods and your weave and your body shaper, or whatever the case may be, trust and believe there is a woman waiting at the water hole. There's a woman waiting at the marketplace, and she has natural, long, beautiful hair. She has little to no makeup on, and she's wearing a white dress where you know she doesn't have a body shaper on. You're competing against that. And yet you get upset when you don't get what you want, because you manipulate a man into choosing you, and you don't have anything worth anything to make him keep you. It's not the job, it's not the amount of money, and it's not the skill sets that you have outside of home that a real man wants. A real man that makes enough money to take care of his everything, or whatever the case may be. Your career and everything means little to nothing, and then you're upset because you're an engineer. You got your bachelor's degree in the arts of whatever, and he chooses a woman that works at McDonald's. What could he possibly see? Look at her. She fire. She fine. And she gives him peace, and she gives him companionship, and she tries to help with whatever she can to make his life easy. But you don't do that, because you and your girl sit around and y'all cackle and laugh about a woman that would stoop so low to do that, and you miss your blessing. And fellas, at the marketplace, same thing for us. If we hunting, whether it be for sport or whether it be for purpose, there are other hunters. And you got to know if you are top of the food chain. Even when you're at the top of the food chain, you're going to have nemesis. But for most people, they're not at the top of the food chain. So they're the leopard. So they're going to have limitations. So they're going to have to be very, very tactful, very, very skilled. And they're going to have to follow up that with the propensity to be able to continue to produce what it is that she will need. I ain't talking about what she wants, but what she needs. He's going to have to continually be able to produce. So whether you're the predator or you're the prey, you got to go where, if you're the predator, and listen, please, guys, don't make this difficult. Predator. You womanizer. No, I'm using the nature by the example. Please, you just get off my page if you're that simple. Okay? Understand what I'm saying. Whether you're the lion or you're the gazelle, whether you're the predator or you're the prey, when morning comes, your ass better be running. Because if you are the hunter and you don't catch, you don't eat, and you die. If you are the prey and you're not noticed, and you're not noticed, you will die. And if you do get noticed, you have to find the happy medium of what you are displaying, because your footprint, whether it's on the computer or whether it's in life, your footprint is going to come into question at some point. So you maybe get by, but you won't get away. Some of you ladies out there, I gotta attract all kinds of men. Yeah, because you look good. Sure, you look good. But ain't nobody marrying you. Ain't nobody wifing you up. Yeah, well, he tried to propose. Well, did you accept the proposal? No, why? Because I wasn't interested in him. Oh, so you're entertaining people that make a lot of money that you ain't interested in. Congratulations. You are a fool. Fellas, don't let a woman shame you for what you specifically want. If you know what you need, don't apologize for what you need. Period. If you are at a place in your life and your purpose where you don't have time to break through walls and trauma and issues and concerns, but you need someone to be by your side, don't make any apologies that you don't want to deal with the headache of a society that has created these modernized masculine-like women, and you don't want to deal with that. Because it's even a headache to mess with them for sport. They'll make life, you know what, if they find out you were just hunting them for fun. So you can't just be hunting everybody for fun. Somebody can get hurt like that. But there are women out there that just want to be hunted for fun. It might not be politically correct to say that, but they just want to be hunted for fun. I'm telling you, if you ask a woman, hey, look, go up to a woman and ask her, say, hey, listen, you're a very beautiful woman and everything. I just had a couple of questions for you. Okay, shoot, what's up? How do you feel like relationships right now at this stage in your life versus just having fun? You know what a lot of women will tell you in this world? I am not looking for anything serious right now. They might not tell you they're looking for fun because it don't sound right. But some of them are bold. They'll be like, hey, I just want to have fun. I just want to have fun. I'm not looking for any attachments. And if that's what you want to do, it's just like, all right, cool. But remember what I said about the soul ties. You better find out about them too. And you know, those type of women want to move quick. They want to move quick. And look, as a man, we'd like to be able to have plenty of portals that we jump in and out. But the reality is a consequence for jumping in and out of portals. Taking you to worlds that you don't want to go. And having things after you and attached to you that you don't want to have. You ever heard of somebody rolling into a neighborhood that's riddled with a gang, and they just rolling through the neighborhood, and then the gang gets upset because they're in the neighborhood, and the next thing you know, they being chased down and they running for their lives. You better know where you're going. You better know where you're going, and you better know what set you in. Because I'm gonna tell you, if you don't get a hall pass, some of these places you can't go, and that's life. All right, I'm going to wrap it up right there. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this makes sense to you. Ladies, I ain't talking to you. I got love for you, ladies. And women, I got love for you too. I ain't got love for them females. And I ain't got love for males either. But if you're a man or you're a gentleman, if you're a woman or you're a lady, I vibes with you. And if you took offense to what I said, I'm talking about you. You the one. You the one that need to get it together. Get your life together. You mad because somebody holding you accountable to what you did in the past. But if you don't want people to hold accountable what you did in the past, stop creating a present that will look ugly in your past because you think ain't nobody gonna find out. I'm telling you, you ladies doing them fans only pages and everything like that, that's forever. That's forever. Now imagine your kid going to school and one of his classmates found your mama on fans only, on Pornhub, or whatever the case may be. Do you know there's children that are so embarrassed in those situations that they take their own lives because it's too much for them? Do you understand even if you don't have children, do you understand what you're doing to your child, your unborn child, when you make certain decisions and choices? So look, I'm gonna get up out of here. I hope you, like I said, I hope you enjoy it. Make sure you like this video. Before you leave this video, if you would please be so kind to like this video. It helps. Make sure you leave a comment. Talk to me nice. And listen, the comments help the algorithms so that other people that you know need to hear what I'm saying is hearing it. So if you agree with mostly what I say and you feel like it would benefit somebody else, comment, like, and share. Share it. And then also make sure you subscribe so you can get notifications about what's going on, when it's going on, and the topics that I'm going to talk about. And if you have topics that you want me to talk about, of course, I'm not going to jump out of my lane. So if you ask me to talk about a topic that I'm not familiar with, I'm not going to do that. That's a disservice to people who are watching. Or if you want to book me, you can hit me. My email is right in the description. It is thoughtofleandre@gmail.com. You can hit me there. Thanks for listening. Thanks for your time. Until next time, peace out.